So the car industry around the world is emerging from the financial crisis a very different place. Here with me in Davos to discuss the car industry and Renault Nissan is Carlos Ghosn, Chairman and Chief Executive of Renault Nissan Alliance. So Mr. Ghosn, the car industry has begun to emerge from the crisis, but how has it actually changed in the last 5 years? What have been the big shifts that you see as it comes out?
Well, I think it's much bigger in emerging markets and I would say streamlined in developed countries with a lot of investments for the last 5 years, which have been mainly concentrated on emerging market, and a lot of development, technological developments which have been made in electrification of the cars, whatever we're talking about, electric cars or hybrids, and now into everything that would drive towards autonomous cars. So it's changing, the product is changing, and the mix in terms of capacity employment of the industry globally is changing.
And where do you see that most? I mean, if you look at the US, for example, we're now getting back towards the levels of sales in 2007. Are they very different cars that are being sold at this point? Is it different people that are buying them? Has there been a shift there?
Not so big shift in the United States. You know, we have had at the beginning, of the crisis in 2008, a tendency for people to buy more smaller car, and the truck business and the large pickup truck and the large SUV dropped tremendously. Now we're seeing a pickup of the large pickup truck and of the large SUVs and the crossovers. So somehow the United States is coming back.
So it's back to normal in the
business,
US,
I would say, yeah. Now, this being said, there is an emphasis on fuel efficiency.
Sure.
There is an emphasis on electrification. There are a lot of expectations from consumers that have shifted.
But the place where, in a sense, there has been a huge change is Europe, where car volumes are still way, way down. Why hasn't there been more of a rationalization in Europe? And do you think that will eventually happen, where capacity gets taken out and people really start to right-size the industry?
Now, there is a lot of reluctance in Europe, and I would say in every single country in Europe, to shut down capacity and to threaten employment. There have been some tentatives, I think, a few years ago, if you remember. Some car makers have announced the intention to streamline their capacity, but in a certain way they didn't do it because the country where they were supposed to streamline opposed it or offered some incentives to maintain this capacity. So in a certain way, what happened in the United States, where there have been a very significant restructuring of the industry that took place in 2008 and 2009, did not take place in Europe, where milder measures have been taken. So probably.
And is there any sign of that happening?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to see major restructuring taking place in Europe. I think that's why the recovery, I would say, in Europe is going to be much.
So what does that mean
smoother
for a company like you, for a company like Fiat, who has a big European presence? Is that just going to remain a very tough business for you?
No, I mean, every car maker solved its problem in a different way. In the case of Renault, which has a big footprint in Europe, what we're doing obviously is we continue to export from Europe, even though these exports are often made with a lot of input suppliers and parts coming from outside Europe. But also we are using our European capacity to serve some of our partners.
Okay.
Some of our partners who needs more cars and lack capacity in Europe are using the Renault plants. This is one way to reduce a little bit the impact of the overcapacity.
So that'll just work itself out over time?
It will. I mean, every car maker is trying to find his own way in order to avoid this problem by streamlining a little bit existing plant, not shutting down a plant, but existing plant, and trying to find a new workload for these plants directly through your own activities in export or through the activity of partners.
So where do you see, if Europe remains tough, if it recovers, where are you putting your money right now? Where are you investing for the future? Where's the big opportunity?
Oh, we are, obviously there are two areas we're putting our money. First, technology, electric cars, autonomous cars, as an example, and emerging market. Investments in China, investments in India, investments in Russia, because even though from time to time we're going to have bumps and in these markets, fundamentally the trend is to a strong development. And for this, I'll just give you one statistic. It's very simple. You have about one car for two people in Europe, a little bit one car for 1.3 person in the United States. You still have one car for 10 people in China
Right.
and 1 car for 20 people in India. So these kind of ratio are not going to stay. So you're going to see a tremendous growth coming in the emerging market, even though this growth is not going to be linear.
So as people fear that emerging markets are going through a tough time, obviously the markets, the financial markets
Yeah.
are saying that. Your view would be that actually the underlying trends in somewhere like China, which I think sells about 20 million vehicles a year, which is about 4 million more than the US already, you think those are strong trends that will continue to power through this?
Well, you have to make a difference between the long-term trend and the short-term variation around the trend. The long-term trend of all emerging markets, in our opinion, without any doubt, is up because of the level, very low level of motorization of this population, which are aspiring to have a car. There is no doubt about it. In China, 90% of the market today is made by first-time buyers. But then around this long-term trend, you're going to have ups and downs depending on the policy which is being followed. For example, 2013 has not been a good year for the markets in Russia, in India, and in Brazil, for the car markets. It has still been a very good year in China. We're expecting 2014 to follow the same path, a little bit better. China will continue to grow, India will recover, Russia and Brazil will have a small growth, but way below their potential.
And so in China, all the talk about finally China's going to hit the slowdown and it's going to be a problem, you would not say that you're seeing that?
I don't see it yet. It doesn't mean that you won't have a slowdown. You may have from time to time period of consolidation, but without any doubt, investing in China is a safe bet for the future.
And it's such a huge market now, the biggest market in the world. Who's winning in China? What is the thing that makes people win in that market?
Well, I think the company which are winning in China are companies which are bringing very innovative products, very reliable, and who have the capacity to support the market. Most of car makers today are short of capacity, if not overall, at least in some selective products. And this is a very dynamic market, with some segments are growing much more than others. So not only you have to invest to make sure that you are following the market, but you are following with the right product.
And is the trends in technology, I mean, you talked a lot about technology and investment, are they similar in China versus other countries? I mean, for example, China has a huge pollution problem in its big cities right now.
Yeah.
You know, are they pushing advances in technology that might not be so relevant in, say, the US? Is that happening? Are you leapfrogging in any way?
You have some basic technology which are needed everywhere.
Sure.
For example, electrification of cars and autonomous cars needed everywhere, because they correspond to some fundamental needs existing in all countries. Electrification is about CO2 emissions, or it's about too much dependency on oil. Autonomous driving is about safety, and it's about also allowing older people to continue to be able to drive, and about connectivity. People want to be able to use the time where they are in the car, while for the time being it's just a total unproductive time. So this will continue. Then market by market, you may have technologies popping up here or there which are much more local. But fundamentally, the technology where we're investing most money are global.
Okay, and if you look at that technology side, I mean, I was at a technology conference in Munich just a few days ago, and people were talking about the car becoming a massive computer.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that is really where we're heading at this point?
Well, there will be a lot of computing power in a car, but I can tell you, the car will continue to be a car. I mean, we certainly, the first thing you want is, you're using this object for transportation, and it has to be pleasant. Connectivity while you are transporting yourself is another challenge. I don't think it's going to take the first priority for somebody driving a car, but I think a lot of people want to be able, when they go from their home to their car or from office to their car, in a certain way not to see any difference. They need to continue to work, connect, discuss, video conference like they were at home or in the office, and today with the autonomous driving it's possible.
And so what's going to be the differentiator as you look forward that makes people, and again it'll be different by market, but makes people choose cars? Is it going to be the efficiency? Is it going to be the computing power, the way that they can interact with the car? Is it going to be the branding? I mean, what's going to be the thing that you think really is the key place to focus?
I think you have first some elements that allows you to put the car in your basket of choice. And this is about safety, this is about reliability, and this is about pricing, and also about branding. These are the elements that allows you to say, okay, I'm maybe hesitate between car A, B, and C for these reasons. then the choice between what is in your basket is going to certainly be about things like how much autonomous driving I can affect, how much connectivity I'm getting. So I don't think connectivity is going to sell cars,
Right.
but connectivity is going to allow people to make the difference between the two last cars that they have selected.
Okay, and in China right now, how are you positioned? I mean, where are you? Have you got that right mix in terms of?
China is a very modern market where we're putting our ultimate technology, our ultimate products. It's a very competitive market. For the moment, the level of competitiveness in China is not showing because the market is growing so fast,
Right.
which means a lot of car makers are just...
So everybody can win.
Exactly, everybody can make it, and you're just trying to invest more. But when you're going to start to see consolidation of the Chinese market, this is where things are going to get tougher. But by any means, we're bringing the latest technology and the latest products in China, and the Chinese consumer is a very discerning one.
Brilliant. Mr. Ghosn, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.